Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. This is Book Nice coming at you with the S.H. Figuarts Nickelodeon cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Raphael figure review. Let's do it.
Man, I used to play the trap spot, propped on the block like I was part of the backdrop. Now it's scale, props, effects, and backdrops. The right lighting, you never catch me biting. Say you make it look so real when you pose the figures fighting. I caught lightning, stuck it in the detour. Replicate epic scenes from the Kree War. Compose pieces with artists that span the globe. Fearsome foes, Spidey in the picture perfect pose. Insert the comic book cutout to shoot a show. Oh, you ain't know? Yo, everybody know me. I made nerds cool nerd like my man Zobi. Took the everyday display, gave it a spark. Welcome to articulated comic book art.
That's crispy.
Taking a closer look at the back of the box here, you can see the Nickelodeon logo in the upper left-hand corner. Right underneath that, you see the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. A couple of different pictures of different poses for Raphael. You got one picture there that says dynamic posing, superior sculpt, optional parts, collectability. So there's one side that says Raphael. This side looks like it's got an image of some artwork modeled after the actual cartoon. And that's how the front of the box looks without the clamshell on the inside. You can see a picture of the actual figure and more logos. Taking a closer look at Raphael outside of the package, and you can see it's a pretty nice looking figure. I mean, I've always maintained the same sentiment for the most part. I think these look pretty fucking goofy, but they are very accurate to the 90s cartoon and how they looked in the cartoon, and they look pretty goofy in the cartoon. So it is what it is. But I will say that the sculpt and the design of these are very nice. They do have a superior sculpt. This is very good work on this figure, and the likeness is spot on. Taking an even closer look at the design, and I guess we'll go over the articulation. Everything looks very good, very clean. To my surprise, there is some die cast on this figure. The figure has some weight to it. There is die cast in the legs, which will help the figure to stand and actually keep its balance and have a certain sense of equilibrium to it, I suppose. But again, the sculpt on this is very nice. So going over the articulation, the head is actually on a ball joint here, but the neck moves independently, as well as the head being able to move on the neck joint. So you get a very nice range of motion on the head. You'll get them to look up pretty far, I guess, and look down pretty far, and look left and right, and even get a little bit of swivel or a little bit of pivot on the head. So that's pretty cool. The shoulder is on a ball joint, as well as a little butterfly joint too, so that gives it a nice range of motion. You get an upper bicep swivel. These joints are very tight. You get double jointed elbows. The wrist is on a ball joint, so it'll hinge and swivel. You do get some ab articulation, not too much, but one thing that I noticed is that the shell here, this is soft, and it's not connected to the chest here, so it doesn't hinder the arms when you want to kind of work the butterfly joint. Both of the arms have the same amount of articulation, so not the greatest ab articulation, but there is some there, and you can see that the joint is there, and there is a cut there below the pecs. So it does move pretty well. It's decent. The shell looks really nice. It looks really clean. I'm gonna get into the accessories in a second and show you how the size and everything go on there. Typical S.H. Figuarts leg joint, where you could kind of pull the joint down to get a better range of motion, but it is pretty much a ball joint there at the pelvis, and you do get a decent amount of articulation. You'll get a swivel, and you get double jointed knees, and the foot is on a ball joint, so it'll hinge up and down just about that much, and you'll get a nice ankle pivot, and you get toe articulation as well. So you do get a very nice range of motion throughout the entire figure. This moves, well, this can actually come out. I didn't really show you the arms going up, but they go up. You can get them to do a 360. You can get the arm to go up just about that far. The legs do actually kick up pretty far, pretty decent. When you pop off the head here, this is how it looks. And I'll swap on another head and start swapping on some of the parts so you can see the there's the other head that swaps on with no problem. And obviously this is why the back to the bandana comes off, so you can swap it on when you put on the other head. And that looks really clean, although it does look very goofy. And looking at the back here on the shell, this part here comes off, and this is how you swap on the other part of his belt, so you can put the size on there as well, and that just plugs in with no problem, so that looks good. This belt here is a soft material too, so that's not hindering any of the articulation when you're trying to work the legs and get those high kicks going. And I'll get the size in there. That looks good. That works well. And he comes with 3 sets of interchangeable hands. You have a pair of fisted hands with holes in them, so he can hold the size here. Hands pop off at the wrist with no issue. Swapping the hands on and off is very easy. There's no issue there. He holds the size with no problem. Everything looks really good. It's a tight grip. It wasn't too tight where I feel like the paint's gonna rub off anything, but you swapping them in and out. But it is a nice firm grip, and he definitely has no problem holding on to them. And then this is the second set, which is semi-open, and I'm assuming that you'll be able to hold the size in these hands as well in a sort of upright position. Let's go with option number 2, so you can have them hold one side that way and have them hold it the traditional way as well. This was kind of difficult to get it in the hand like that, and I don't think it's really on there as best as it could be, and I'm a little concerned about putting it in like that with maybe rubbing the plastic, but again, it is an option, and I'm glad that is one of the 3 or 4 options that you have for hands. So that was a nice touch. And just taking a closer look at the size, they look good. The brown has a couple of little ridges around it, the brown handle, and the silver looks good. It's pretty basic, but the paint is good. This is the other 2 accessories. He comes with a throwing star, and help me out in the comments. I forget the technical term for this sort of dagger. I know there's another name for it, but that has the wrap around it too. It's sort of like a grayish color, and again, the silver paint looks good. And then there's the last set of hands, which are completely open, so a nice bit of variety with the hands, and the different hands will give it more personality, more options for posing, more options for displaying. Definitely a good amount of accessories here for Raphael. Here's a quick size comparison to some Raphaels of the past, the NECA Raphael there, and the Revoltech, and then a Marvel Legends. So they fit in pretty well with 6-inch scale figures. I mean, they are 6-inch scale, so you can kind of finesse it and finagle it with some 6-inch goons and do some different things until we get some more supporting characters for the line, if that happens. Aside from Shredder, they did show Shredder at New York Comic Con. So I'm actually okay with this figure. It's not as bad as I initially thought. The sculpt, the design is very, very nice. I wish it had just a little bit more range of motion for a frontal kick. I actually ended up getting Leonardo and Donatello for free, so thanks to the good folks over at Entertainment Earth for that. I have to pick them up though. They're at the post office. They've been there for a couple of days. So I went ahead and purchased Raphael at New York Comic Con, being that it was, I guess, a Bandai exclusive of sorts because it was on an early release. So I'll see what happens when Michelangelo drops. I think he's supposed to drop in December. These will run you about $60, $62, $63 a pop. I think that with the way the exchange rate is right now, it's almost about the same, if not maybe like $4 or $5 difference for you to order directly from Japan or get them domestically. So $60 figure is a bit pricey, but with the die cast and everything and all the accessories and everything, it is probably pretty spot on with the price. So we'll see what happens when I get all 4 turtles. And picking up this guy made me actually go back and look at some of the old cartoons. And it was 1987 when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon first debuted. I was 6 years old, and it ran almost 10 years. So pretty cool. Yeah, until next time, peace.
That's crispy.